Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with the same module, that is the business skills for e-commerce, and the chapter number 5, that is the same chapter, that is the e-payment system. In the last class we have started this chapter and we have covered two topics, that is the objective and what is the introduction, or that is what is the objective and introduction of e-payment system. We have studied a lot, that is what is the payment system, how we are doing the payment of the um, e-payment, or how we are doing the payment online, that is the e-payment system. So let's take a quick review what we have covered in the last class, then move to the today's topic, and that is the types of e-payment systems, right? So let's start the session. We have started with the introduction of the e-payment system, and this is the topics, or these are the various contents that is available with e-payment system. One is the objective, then introduction, then types of EPS, then dimensions of EPS, that is the electronic payment system, then traditional system versus the electronic payment system, then what are the protocols that is used with the electronic payment, then security requirements, then consumer empowerment, then what are the properties of digital currency. So these are the various topics that is covered in this chapter. Now let's start with the objective, that what is the main objective of the e-payment system, that why we are dealing with, or why we are studying that what is the e-payment system. So this says, for electronic commerce to have a chance to meet the soaring expectations set in press with regards to the internet, efficient and effective payment service needs to be established. So whenever I say I am doing the better business, that means I have to plan out, or I have to plan out the effective and the efficient payment system. So that must be established, that there must be a effective payment system, and that effective payment system is provided by the e-payment system only. And these are the various roles that we have covered, or that is going to cover after going through this lesson. That is what is the area, or what are the contents that we are covering. First of all, define the, or describe the concept of e-payment system. That is what is the concept, why it is using the e-payment system. Then what are the various types of e-payment system, that is today's topic, that what are the different modes that is available for doing the payment online. Then explain various dimensions, that what are the dimensions of e-payment system. Then security issues, that is what is the security issues that is available with e-payment system. Then managerial issues, that what are the managerial issues that is available with e-payment system. Then future of the e-payment system in India, that is what is the future of e-payment system that is available in India. Then first of all, there is the introduction that we have covered. So in introduction we simply cover what is the e-payment system. As the name advises, e-payment system, that is a system that makes the payment online, that is a e-payment system, that is the electronic payment system, that is a system to manage the payment online, that is done through the e-payment system, or that is known as the e-payment system. And this is the very central or very effective to the online business process. So e-payment systems are central to online business process, as companies look for ways to serve customers faster and at lower cost. That is why it is very central, or why it is very useful, because companies look for the ways to serve consumer or customers faster and a lower cost. Emerging innovations in the payment for goods and services in electronic commerce promise to offer a wide range of new business opportunities. That is, e-commerce also offers a wide range of new business opportunities that is available with the business. Then e-payment system and e-commerce are highly linked, given that online consumers must pay for products and service. So e-payment system and e-commerce are closely related with each other. Why they are closely related with each other? Because whenever there is a e-commerce, that is trading of goods and services, then and only when we are using the payment system, we are doing the payment system. So this is the e-payment system and e-commerce are highly related with each other. Why? Because online consumer also must pay for the product and services, that is a online payment, that is a e-payment. Clearly, payment is an integral part of the mercantile process, and prompt payment is crucial. That is every business needs a prompt payment, that is a sudden payment. At the same time, the payment must be made, and that is the payment that is provided by only the e-payment system. So these are the various aspects, or this is the various this is the one of the important aspect of e-commerce is the prompt and secure payment. So the current scenario of e-payment system is in the various ages that is used. Everyone agrees that the payment and the settlement process is a potential bottleneck in fast-moving electronic commerce environment. That is, everyone agrees that whenever there is a secure payment and the fast payment and the prompt payment, then only then there is a vast growth of the e-commerce environment. There is a more growth of the e-commerce environment. Electronic replicas of these conventional instruments are not well suited for the speed required in e-commerce purchase processing. For example, payments of small denominations must be made and accepted by vendors in real time for snippets of information. That is, a payment of the small denominations must be carried out, micropayment must be made and accepted by various vendors in real time system. Therefore, new methods of payments are needed to meet the emerging demands of e-commerce. So whenever we are using the new methods, emerging needs of the e-commerce, so there is a new method that is available for the e-payment systems. These new payment instruments must be secure. So these payments must be secure, must have a low processing cost, and must be accepted widely as a global currency tender. Then next is that we have covered that what is a e-payment system. So e-payment systems are becoming central to online business transactions nowadays. Why they are central? Because every company look for various methods to serve customer faster and more cost effectively. That is, most of the customers are using or are taking care of that what is the various usage of the various companies that is used or that is serves faster and more cost effective. E-commerce brings a wide range of new worldwide business opportunities. There is no doubt that electronic payment systems are becoming more and more common and will play an important role in the business world. E-payment always involves a payer and payee who exchange goods for goods and services, or who exchange money for goods and services. So it involves, the e-payment involves that the payer and the payee exchange the goods and services in respect of the money. At least one financial institution like a bank will act as a issuer and the acquirer. That is, one of the person that is doing the e-commerce transactions, one is acting as a payer and another one is acting as a pay. Then awareness of the risk e-payment system. That is, the security is one of the important issue or one of the important consideration that is used with the e-payment system. Furthermore, sociological and cost factors also play a significant role. Several reports on awareness of risk are related to the non-transparent legal background for both the companies and the consumers. In this context, e-commerce reluctant appears to be more pronounced in firms than in customers. That is also available for the or more appearance for the e-commerce transactions. The main reason for firms to be reluctant may be insecurity. That is the main reason for the firms to be reluctant while doing the transaction may be the insecurity that is caused by the lack of legal rules that is determining what is legally binding. That is, there are less number of legal rules that is available with the e-payment system. And but most of the frauds are taken by the credit card, because person share their information over the internet with the by giving the credit card number, name. So that name, that number will be hacked by someone hacker in the or over the internet, over the network. In general, there seems to be no consensus on whether companies and customers clearly differentiate between the secure and the unsecure method of payment, and whether they could not accept the latter because of the risk involved. Some parties believe that companies and customers clearly differentiate between the secure and the unsecure payment. The general public remains unaware of the risk issue. That is, most of the public is unaware about the risk issues. That is, what is the risk that involved with the e-payment system. Because most of the person think that yeah, everything is okay, nothing to worry. But that is not the case. So the main concern of the average customers seem to be confidentiality about the credit card numbers exchanged on the internet. In this respect, the difficulty of generalizing about the security aspect of all systems should be stressed. There is a wide variety of payment systems with different security features and thus with varying security levels. Many other issues also affect the security of e-payment systems, perhaps even more importantly. Example, the physical, procedural and personal security procedures that is operated at the end of any telecommunication link. That is, we can also provide the security issues that is available with the e-commerce transactions. It is also fairly well known that most security failures are caused by insider threats rather than the external threats. Now, types of e-payment system. That is, what are the types of e-payment system that is available? That is a today's topic. So let's start. So one of the system is conventional payment process. That is a traditional payment process that is we are using the day to day or we are using in the day to day scenario. That is a conventional payment process. So a conventional process of payment and settlement involves a buyer to seller transfer of cash or payment information. That is a conventional process of payment. A conventional process is involving or involves a buyer to seller transfer. That is, a buyer transfer the goods to the seller and seller pay out the cash to the buyer. Or payment information, example, credit card or check. The actual settlement of payment takes place in the financial processing network. That is, the actual transfer is also taken care of or also taken care in the financial processing network. A cash payment requires a buyer's withdrawal from his bank account, a transfer of cash to the seller, and the seller's deposit of payment to his or her account. So the cash payment also requires a buyer's withdraw. If there is a cash payment, that also requires a buyer's withdraw from his bank account, transfer of cash to the seller, and the seller's deposit of payment to his owner account. That is a conventional system. Simply, there is a relationship between the buyer sell out the goods to the seller provides the or pay out the goods to the seller, and seller provides the cash to the buyer. So this is the seller's bank, this is the seller, this is buyer, this is buyer's bank. So there are the different banks, there are different sellers that is available with the e-commerce. Then when face-to-face purchase is replaced with the online commerce, that is a traditional scenario. Now if it is replaced with the online commerce, many aspects of transaction occurs instantly. That is, many aspects of a transaction occurs instantly, under which various processes of a normal business interaction are subsumed. That is, normal business are consumed or normal business are exhausted for a time being whenever there is a face-to-face transactions. For example, a typical purchase involves stages of locating a seller. That is, a typical purchasing involves stages of locating a seller, selling a product, asking a price quote, making an offer, agreeing over payment, means checking the identity and validity of the payment mechanism. So a typical purchasing involves the locating the seller first of all, then selecting a product, which product, then asking a price quote, that is the main part. That is a negotiation among the buyer and the seller. What is the price of the product or service? Then checking the identity, validity of the payment mechanism, transferring the goods, and there is a receipt. In order to be used as a substitute for face-to-face payments, online payments must incorporate all or some of these stages within their payment functions. So whenever we use or whenever it is used as a substitute for face-to-face payment, so whenever there is a online payment, so whenever there is an online payment that becomes the substitute for face-to-face payment, online payment system must incorporate all or some of these stages within a payment system. The lack of face-to-face interaction also leads to more secure methods of payment being developed for e-commerce. So whenever there is a lack of face-to-face interaction, that also leads to the more secure payment that is developed for the e-commerce. to deal with the security problems for sensitive information and uncertainty about identity. That is, there is a lack of security whenever we use the e-payment system. As I told you in the last class also, there are the different kinds of frauds that is available while doing the transactions over the internet. Consequently, electronic commerce transactions requires intermediaries to provide security, identification and authentication as well as payment support. Figure 5.2 shows a stylized transaction for online commerce using an intermediary. In this model, the intermediary not only settle the payments, but it also take care of such needs as confirming seller and buyer's identity, authenticating and verifying ordering and payment information and other transactional requirement that is lacking in virtual interactions. So this simply says that how the e-payment system is used as compared to the traditional, that is the conventional system. Payment settlement in this figure follows the example of the traditional electronic fund transfer model, which use second private value network. So this is the payment that is used for the traditional electronic fund payment that is available for the fund transfer. So whenever there is a payment uh, settlement, so that is done by the electronic fund transfer model that is available in the figure. This is the e-commerce or the e-payment systems. The intermediary contributes to market efficiency by resolving uncertainties. So there are so many uncertainties that is also resolved and about the security, identity and relieving vendors of the need to set up duplicate hardware and software to handle the online payment clearing process. The payment information transmitted by the buyer may be one of three types. First, it may contain only customer order information, such as the identity of the buyer and the seller, and the name of the product, amount of payment, and other sale condition, but no payment information such as credit card number or checking the account number. In this case, the intermediary acts as a centralized commerce enable maintaining membership and payment information for both the buyers and seller. That is simply a e-payment system. Whenever there is a payment system, a buyer need only sends a seller his identification number that is assigned by the intermediary. So there is an intermediary, buyer send out the information to the seller, simply provides the identification number that is assigned by the intermediary to the buyer, and seller at the same time sell out the goods to the purchaser or buyer. Upon receiving the purchase order, the intermediary verifies it with both the buyer and the seller and handles all sensitive payment information on behalf of both. So this is a settlement, this is a payment request and settlement, this is a seller, then goods and services, that is the ID number. So seller provides the goods and services to the seller, and buyer provides the ID number to the seller. There is an intermediary which acts as the intermediate between the buyer and the seller, and they also intermediary also provides the relationship between the buyer's bank and the seller's bank. This is secure offline settlement. This is online settlement and confirmation. The key benefit of this payment clearing system. So what is the benefit of this clearing benefits, or what is the benefit of this payment system, that is a e-payment system, that is the role of the intermediary, is that it separates sensitive and non-sensitive information. That is, first of all, it separates out the what is the sensitive information and what is the non-sensitive information. Sensitive information includes the credit card number, credit card holder name, so that the fraud cannot take place over the internet, and it only send out the, or it only makes the payment for the non-sensitive information. That is only the non-sensitive information that is not sensitive to the customer, that is only exchanged over the internet. So there is, if there is any lack of information or if there is any leaking of information, so that does not make the impact on the customer. So this is the main important benefit, that it separates out the sensitive as well as the non-sensitive information, and only the non-sensitive information is exchanged online. This alleviates the concern with security that is often seen as a serious barrier to online commerce. So this also provides a security. Why? Because the sensitive information is not passed to the internet through the online transactions. In fact, first, virtual does not even rely on encryption for messages between buyers and sellers. A critical requisite for this system to work is the user's trust in the intermediaries. And what is the critical requisite for this system? That what is the limitation? Is the user's trust in the intermediaries. Yeah, this is the fact, because if the buyer and seller does not make the trust on the intermediary, so how is that possible? Because intermediaries are the person who know each and every bank's information, credit card information, that is every personal detail or every information about the account is taken care by the intermediary. So if they do not trust with each other, that then this system is not applicable. Then the type number 2, that is the second payment. So first payment we have covered, that is there is a role of the intermediaries, that is the intermediates are available to make the transaction between the buyer and the seller. Then the second type of payment is the payment based on EFT, that's the payment based on the electronic fund transfer. So electronically the funds will be transferred to the seller or the buyer. It is a notational funds transfer. Notational funds transfer means the transfer of the funds in a notation wise, that is a notational fund transfer, that is based on the EFT. So now come back from the break, let's start the session again. So second type is, that is a payment that is based on the EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer. So this is the second type. First type, that is the based on the intermediaries, or there is an intermediate person. Now the second type is, that is a payment that is based on the EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer. This second type of, or the second type of payment system does not depend on a central processing intermediary. This is one of the important line, that it does not depend on a central processing intermediaries. Instead, sensitive payment information such as credit card, bank account number is transmitted along with the order. That is, there is no intermediaries who transfers the information from buyer to the seller. No. Instead, there is a sensitive information such as the credit card number is transmitted with the orders, which is in effect an open internet implementation of financial electronic data interchange. That is a every sensitive information is transferred along with the order. Suppose I order for a pen drive with the help of Flipkart. So everything, it may be my bank number, it may be my bank account number, it may be my credit card number, debit card number, any sensitive information is transmitted along with the orders, which is in effect an open implementation, internet implementation of financial electronic data interchange, that is the EDI. And EFT is a financial application of EDI. So one of the major financial institution is EDI, that is the electronic data interchange, and that EDI is, or EFT is one of the financial application of the EDI, which sends credit card number or electronic checks via secured private network. This is the most important line. As we simply said that the data is, or the sensitive information is transmitted along with the order, but how it will be safe, or how, or till much amount, or up to what amount this will be safe, that is provided by the EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer, that transfers a fund from the buyer to the seller and seller to the buyer, and that must be in a secure private network. So that is a very secure between the banks and the major corporations. So this facility, this security is taken care by the EFT. To use the EFT to clear the payments and settle accounts, an online payment service will need to add capabilities to process the orders, accounts and receipt. In its simplest form, payment system may use digital checks. That is, a payment system may use or must use the digital checks over the network, simply an image of a check, and rely on existing payment clearing network. The secure electronic transaction, that is a SET protocol, is used for a credit card based system that is supported by the Visa and the MasterCard. So this is a SET protocol that is using the credit card number that is supported by the Visa and the MasterCard, that uses the digital certificates which are digital credit cards. We call this type of payment system as a notational fund transfer system since it resembles traditional electronic fund transfers. We know these terms as a electronic fund transfer and the wire transfer which settles the notational account of buyers and sellers. So there is a fund transfer among the buyer and the seller with respect to the electronic data movement, that is the fund or the amount is transferred from the seller to the receiver or the buyer to the seller. This is an diagram that shows the how EFT, that is a notational fund transfer system, takes place. This arrow, that is a dark arrow, shows the settlement, that is the NFT, and this arrow, that is this arrow, it shows the payment system. So seller provides the services, goods and services to the buyer. Buyer provides the information to the seller. So buyer provides the information to the seller. The information may be check, maybe credit card, maybe any information that is received, that is sending from or that is sent from the buyer to the seller, and seller provides the goods and services to the buyer. And seller also contact with the seller's bank, that is a payment clearing system, secure offline settlement through EFT, EDI or WAN, that is a virtual area network. EFT means electronic fund transfer, EDI means electronic data interchange. So any clearing service is used that is very secure, and there is a offline settlement, that is there is no that everything is going online. No, because if they are going online, so there will be a chances of hacking the information. So that is provided offline settlement either with the use of EFT, that is a electronic fund transfer, EDI, that is electronic data interchange, or VAN, that is a virtual area network. So that is provided or that is included in the seller's bank. In the same way, there is a buyer's bank that deals with the buyer who purchases the goods. So there is an online transaction and verification in the buyer's bank. So there are two types of banks involved. One is related to the seller, one is related to the buyer. Seller take out the payment, make the payment, clear the services, make the payment with the offline method either through EFT, EDI or WAN. And there is a buyer bank that deals with the buyer. So there is a relationship between the buyer and the seller. So that is a notational fund transfer system. This is notational fund transfer system differs from payment clearing services. So it is different from the payment clearing services in that the payment information transferred online contains sensitive financial information. That is the payment clearing services, payment information is transferred online. That is the information about the payment is transferred online that contains the sensitive financial information. This is one of the important line. So that must contain the sensitive information that is carried out via online transactions. Therefore, if it is intercepted by a third party, it may be abused like stolen credit cards or debit cards. A majority of proposed electronic payment system falls into second category or second type of payment system, that is with the debit cards numbers. The objective of these systems is to extend the benefit and convenience of EFT to consumer and small businesses. That is whenever there is a fund transfer, that is for example, if I am purchasing a pen drive from any of the commercial site, and if I am using the debit card or credit card for making the purchases, if I am using the debit card, then they ask for the debit card number. I enter the debit card number and the transaction is made. So there is a direct transfer of the fund from my bank to the that commercial site, for example Flipkart, right? So there is a direct transfer of the amount, transfer of the fund from the from the buyer's account to the commerce organization. So the objective of this system is to extend the benefit and convenience of EFT to the consumers and small businesses. However, unlike EFT, the internet is open and not as secure as private value added network. So unlike EFT, internet is open and not as secure as private value added network. The challenge to these systems is how to secure the integrity of the payment messages being transmitted and to ensure the interoperability between different set of payment protocols. So what is the challenge to these systems is to how to secure the integrity of the payment messages. That is how or what is the main role or how the payment is secure or how to provide the integrity of the payment messages that is being transmitted, and to ensure the interoperability, that is how different protocols are interoperable or how different protocols are operated with each other in a different fashion. Then the next one is type 3. So we have covered two types. One is the payment that involves the intermediaries. One is the payment through the EFT. One is the payment that is based on the electronic currency. That is the third type. That is a payment based on electronic currency. The third type of payment system transmit not payment information but a digital product representing values, that is the electronic currency. This is the third type of payment that not only transmit the payment information but also a digital product that represents the value, that is the electronic currency. The nature of digital currency mirrors that of paper money as means of payment. So what is the nature of a digital currency? That is very similar or that resembles that of paper money as a means of payment. So this mirrors means that becomes a mirror that is very uh, same as compared to the paper money systems. As such, digital currency payment have the some advantages as paper currency payments. That is, some advantages are possible with the electronic currency, that is the digital currency, electronic currency, as compared to the paper currency payment. That is namely anonymity and convenience. That is whenever we do the electronic currency, so whenever I pass the currency electronically, so there must be a convenient or that must be a convenient and that must be provided anonymity with the customers. As in other electronic payment systems, here too security during transmission and storage is a concern. Although from a different perspective, for digital currency systems, double spending, counterfeiting and storage become crucial issues. So sorry. This says security during the transmission is very concerned, although from a different perspective. So security is very concerned whenever the data is transmitted from the sender to the receiver. For digital currency systems, the double spending, counterfeiting and storage becomes critical issues, whereas eavesdropping and the issue or liability when charges are made without any authorization are important for the notional fund transfer. So this is the payment that is based on the electronic currency, that is the electronic currency is used for making the transaction and the transaction is made electronically. So this is the third type of system in which the security is one of the major issue. Why? Because every sensitive information is transmitted from the buyer to the seller and seller to the buyer. So this figure 5.4 shows the digital currency payment scheme. So this is the digital currency payment scheme. There is a this arrow that shows outline money flows. That is this dark arrow shows that there is a money flows that is in outside way. One is the inside. So one is going outside, one is going or one is coming inside. So for all the five tools or the identities are available. One is a seller's bank, then buyer's bank, then seller, then buyer. So seller provides the goods and services to the buyer. Buyer makes a payment to the seller, that is the inside money flows. There is an intermediary among the buyer and the seller. There is a seller's bank, there is a buyer's bank. An intermediary converts outside and inside monies. So it is a role of the intermediary that converts how much outside payment is carried out and how much inside payment is carried out. So it makes a uh, gap or it makes a balance between the internal payment, that is the inside payment, and the outside payment. And the left hand side is known as settlement of outside memory and this is known as transfer of inside memory. So this is settlement of outside memory and this is used for transfer of inside memory. And this is the system of the digital currency payment scheme. So this is the digital currency payment scheme that is available. So how digitally the currency will be or how we are making the payment digitally in a currency scheme. The only difference from figure is that the intermediary in figure 5.4 acts as the electronic bank which converts outside money into the inside money. That is the role of the intermediary that converts the outside money into the inside money. That is the outside money is carried out into the inside money, that is used as a e-cash tokens which is circulated within the online market or which is circulated within online markets. However, as a private monetary system, digital currency will have wide-ranging impact on money and monetary system with implications extended far beyond mere transactional efficiency. So it is issued or it is available with the conventional efficiency that is available. Already digital currency has swept many type of new businesses, software vendors for currency server system. So digital currency includes many new type of businesses that is available. One is the software vendors that is used for the currency server system, one hardware vendor for the smart card readers. So the software vendors or the software techniques is used for the currency server system, and the hardware vendors includes the smart card readers. So whenever there is a reading of the smart card, so whenever there is a money or whenever there is a payment that is made out of the smart card, that smart card must be read whenever a customer posts into the smart card or posts the smart card for money, then that smart card must be read by the hardware vendors and other interface devices. So there are many type of new businesses, either software vendors, either hardware vendors and other interface devices. Technology firms for security, encryption, authentication and new banking services, interfacing accounts in digital currency and conventional currency. So these are the various tools, these are the various many types of new businesses that is available. So one is the software vendors, hardware vendors, technology firms, encryption, authentication, new banking services, digital currency and conventional currency. Then next topic is dimensions of e-payment system. That is, what is the dimensions of e-payment system, how it will be used, or we are using the dimensions, or what is the dimension. So this says electronic payment system can be considered to be merely the next albeit significant step in a long line of changes in payment clearing system. So e-payment system must be considered or can be considered to be merely the next albeit significant step in a long line of changes in payment clearing system. So whenever I say e-payment system, that is considered to be merely the next albeit significant step. So that is our next step that is used, that is a long line of changes in the payment clearing system. That is a e-payment system. The electronic settling of accounts, for example, has long been an integral part of payment system using credit cards, debit cards, automatic teller machines and prepaid cards. So whenever I say electronic settlement of accounts, so whenever I say the electronic transfer of accounts, that is or for example has long been an integral part of payment system. So this is one of the main part of payment system using the credit cards, debit cards, ATMs and prepaid cards. What enables my payment mechanism to be processed electronically is the fact that unlike currency, bills or coins which carry monetary values, non-cash mechanisms are promises or contract of payments based on the information transmitted or characteristics following a transaction. The appropriate accounts representing notional money are adjusted between banks and financial institutions. So based on the information that is transmitted or based on the sensitive information that is transmitted or the characteristics that follows a transaction, appropriate accounts represents the notional money that is adjusted between the banks and financial institutions. The only difference between various type of e-payment system are discussed in section 5.2, that is discussed in this one, that is the next one. So these are the various dimensions, that is either use the cash, check, credit card. So what type of mode that you are using for the payment system, for the e-payment system, what type of scenario that is using. So one is either using the cash, either using the check, either using the credit card, either using the stored value, that is a debit card, or the accumulated balance. So these are the various 5 terms that is used. So one of the dimension is instantly convertible without intermediation. So if there is a, that is a instantly convertible. So if that is a instantly convertible without intermediation. So if that is if there is a requirement for the instant, that is there is a requirement at the same time the money is transferred or convert from the buyer to the seller. So cash is one of the better option that is available. Check is not available, credit card is not available, debit card is not suitable, accumulating balance is not suitable. Why? Because there is an instant convertible without any intermediate. So if there is no intermediate between the payment system between the buyer and seller, so how is that possible? This is possible only with the use of cash. Then next dimension is low transaction cost for small transactions. That is, there is a low transaction cost that is available for the small transactions. So if it is available, and if it is available in the sense, if this is available in the e-payment system, that is a yes, then no, no, yes. That is, if there is a low transaction cost for the small transaction that is available, so then only then the cash is the better option. And there is accumulated balance, yeah, there is accumulated balance that is available. Then low transaction cost for large transactions. So there is a low transaction cost for the large transaction. So cash is not the good payment. Why? Because there is a large transaction, there is a huge transaction. So in this case, the check is the valid option. Credit card is also valid option. Debit card is also valid option. Why? Because this is a large transaction. That is, the transaction quantity is very large. And accumulating balance is yes. The next one is low fixed cost for merchant. So if there is a low fixed cost that is available for the merchant, there is a cash that is used, yes. Personal check, that is also yes. But the credit card number is not acceptable, or credit card is not acceptable, debit card is not acceptable, and the accumulating balance is also not acceptable. In the same way, if there is a refundable, of this is a refundable that is able to repudiate, this is not refundable, this is refutable. So cash is not the better option, personal check is not the better option, sorry, this is a better option, check. Credit card is the better option, debit card is not the better option usually, yes. Then if there is a financial risk for consumer, so if there is a financial risk for consumers, yes, it is available. Then check is not the concern or the better option. Then debit card, credit card is also the better option. And if I'm using the debit card, that is very limited. Then financial risk for merchant, then no, yes, yes, no, yes. Then anonymous for consumer. So if there is any anonymous for consumer, cash is the better option. Debit card, credit card, debit value accumulating balance is not the better option. Then anonymous for merchants, immediately respondable, then yes, no, no, no. Then security against the unauthorized usage, then if there is a security against the unauthorized usage that is available, no, some. Then temple resistance. So these are the various scenarios, various options, various dimensions of the e-payment system that is required. And there are multiple methods, either using the various dimensions like cash, check, available for the intermediaries. So has immediate monetary value, then yes, no, no, yes, no. then account required, then no, yes, 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 then bars keep float, then no, yes, yes, no, yes. So this is the source that is adapted from the Mackie Mason and White 1996. So this is the various options, that is various dimensions that is required for the e-payment system. One more dimension is available, that is a special hardware required. That is what type of special hardware required. Then there is a cash, no cash, no check, yes. There is a debit credit card. If the merchant said, that is yes by merchant. Then hardware requirement, yes by merchant, that is a debit card. Then accumulating the balance, that is also available with the merchant, that is yes by merchant. These are the various options, or these are the various dimensions for using the e-payment system, that is using the electronic payment system. So this is the concern that is used. So these are the various dimensions as well as the various modes that is available for the e-payment system. So next topic is the traditional payment system versus electronic payment system. That what is the main difference between the traditional payment system and the e-payment system. So let's stop over here only. And this topic I will be carrying out in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class. So that's all for today's session. If there is any doubts, um, you can talk to me, you can mail the doubts to me, you can carry any type, any information, any criteria you can follow for asking the doubts. But please ask the doubts so that your concepts are clear. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. We will meet on tomorrow, that is with the topic, that is traditional payment system versus electronic payment system. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.